Hey everybody, with hurricane season just barely getting here in the month of June, or depending on whenever you're watching this, I want to go over some generator 101, some safety tips, things that you need to know if one, you are looking to buy a generator, or two, you are looking to maintain your generator. Now, there's a plethora of different types of generators out there, so we're not going to be going over those entire home style generators, that somebody comes and professionally installs on your house. We're going to be talking about the type of generators that you go to Lowe's, you pick up, you buy, you put in the back of your truck, you drive home, you put some gas into it, and you're good to go. And you don't have to get it from Lowe's, you can get it from wherever you want. It was just the first store that came to my head. Now, if you're wondering to yourself, do you need a generator? I will say simply, if you live in an area that is prone to power outages, whether it would be from hurricanes, tornadoes, ice storms, things of that nature, which would pretty much have you lose power and electricity, yeah, I would think you need a generator. And the reason why I say that is because I myself have been through this. A few years back, we got slammed in southern Louisiana with a storm called Hurricane Laura. It was a Cat 4 storm, almost made Cat 5, and it messed up a lot. And I was out of power for around 20 some days. If I did not have this generator, this power outage really would have been crippling, and I would have had to leave my home, gone to a hotel, worried about all my stuff, worried about my house, all this different stress and anxiety that you really just don't need in your life. Thanks to just having this generator that I currently have now, I was able to run my fridge, a window unit AC, fans, and phone chargers. I could even hook up my TV and run it pretty much all at the exact same time. And yes, in the morning, I was able to go ahead and brew up a cup of coffee. If I wanted to heat something up from the fridge, I could run my microwave. And I could even run my laundry machine if I wanted to wash my clothes. Now, with that being said, certain generators do have certain power capacities, so make sure you are following in line with that. If not, your generator will simply just trip and it won't work anymore. So you'll know when you've hit too much power. And just a little small tip, surprisingly, coffee makers do pull a lot more power than you think. I remember turning on my coffee machine in the morning during those storm times and just hearing my generator go, when I flip on the coffee machine, like, wow, it has that much pull. I'm sure that's not a surprise for you people who are really savvy when it comes to electricity and that kind of stuff, but to a normal person like me, that was kind of like, whoa. So before we get more into the General 101, I do want to talk about safety. Because sadly, so many times people have died from being ignorant on how to actually operate their generator. And what I'm specifically talking about is the carbon monoxide poisoning that comes from that exhaust. So rule number one, never run your generator indoors. Always run it outside. All it takes is going to Google, typing generator related death, and you'll see a multitude of different reports, sadly, of preventable deaths because people were running their generators either inside their house or inside their garage or whatever the case may be. Now, I'm in my garage right now, and I have had people, friends, during the storms that would run their generator in their garage. They leave their door open, and yes, while that may be acceptable, they lived, whatever the case may be, when it comes to your life, I don't take any risks. So don't take any risks with your life either. All it takes is a nice breezy gust of wind to keep blowing that carbon monoxide into the garage and into your house, and you potentially, depending on where your garage is, dying. That wouldn't be good. Rule number two, always run your generator away from your house. Now I will go ahead and divert to the user manual for your generator on what it recommends, how far away it should be. I know my generator, it says anywhere between 15 to 30 feet away from the house when operating. That's because that carbon monoxide could come in and be blown into your house through an open window, through a fan, whatever the case may be. You don't want to run that risk. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead into when you should buy your generator. Honestly, the best time to buy it is now, because what you don't want to do is wait until the last minute and buy your generator when the storm has already hit. What normally happens, price gouging starts happening, stores start jacking up their prices, scammers are all over the place and they're buying them and then selling them on the side of the road for crazy amount of prices. Don't wait to buy your generator until the storm hits or right before the storm hits. Do it now when everything is calm. Next thing you need to buy is make sure you buy some gas cans. And honestly, depending on what type of generator you have, because they all come in different shapes and sizes, buy plenty of gas cans. One lesson that I learned when Hurricane Laura hit was I had one 5-gallon gas can and I had a couple of these little tiny gallon and a half gas cans. And honestly, that wasn't enough. I had to go out and buy more. And honestly, they were very hard to find at that point, once again, subject to the price gouging. Obviously, when a storm hits, gas stations go down and they got to run themselves on generator power, and lines are crazy. I remember waiting in the line for over 4 hours just to get gas. So it would be very helpful if you have maybe 4 or 5 5-gallon gas cans that you can use, so that way you're not constantly having to run back to the gas station, wait in a long line, and come back home. Typically, my wife and I would buy enough gas and had enough cans in order to run our generator for about 3 straight days before we had to go back. Next thing you're gonna need is some oil. Make sure you get oil. I know a lot of times people will run out, get a generator, and then never think of these things: gas cans, oil, things like that. This is something you are going to need. And once again, divert to the user manual for your particular generator. Another thing you're going to need is a funnel. And you probably want two, one for your oil and one for your gas. And if this is starting to sound a little bit intimidating to you, don't worry, it's actually super easy. If you'd like to see a video on how to properly change your oil inside your generator, by all means, drop a comment and we'll make a video dedicated to that. Last thing you need to buy is make sure you have a couple good all-weather power cables. I typically buy these orange ones that you see right here. Some can get pretty expensive, but hey, it's worth it when you don't have that power. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's go ahead and move to our generator and start talking about it more specifically. Once you have everything you need, then your generator is good to go. All you need to do, open up your gas cap, fill it with gas. Once again, make sure you have oil in there already, and then you can go ahead and plug in your power cables, hook it up to your devices, and then you're good to go. They do have, most generators now come with different breakers on it, so that way if something does happen, you can go ahead and it will automatically shut off if it's starting to be loaded, whatever the case may be, but they are very simple to run. And even some of them have things like this CO Sense technology, where it will automatically shut off if it starts detecting too much carbon monoxide. Very good safety feature and honestly worth it. Don't gamble with your life. Another thing to keep in mind, and this kind of gets more into the maintenance after you've been using it for a while, but when you start getting into the seasons and you've been using your generator a lot, you want to make sure that you are maintaining it properly, and that includes replacing the fuel filter, which is right here. That would include the air filter as well, making sure this is clean and good to go, even replacing it if you just don't clean it out good enough. At the end of the day, a generator is a very simple machine. It's simple and easy to use as long as you're willing to take the time to learn and understand. Additionally, when it comes to maintenance of your generator, make sure you are running it even during the off season. Some manufacturers will recommend doing it once a quarter, others recommend doing it once every 6 months. Regardless, make sure you are going out there and actually starting up your generator, getting it to run, let it run for a little bit, so that way it's good to go. It's kind of like a car. You just don't want to leave it sitting for long periods of time. Also on top of that, make sure you are doing your oil changes, depending on how many hours it's been running, or depending if it's just been sitting there for a long time. Don't just let your generator sit and die. You spend a lot of money on it. Keep using it. So with all that being said, this video was very short, it was very basic, it was very brief, and that was kind of the point. If you are curious to dive into generators a little bit more, or maybe you want a specific review about my generator, this Generac here, please by all means drop it in the comments, let me know, and we'll talk about it. Anyways, y'all have a good one, and stay safe out there.